Let's talk about Glass Onion, a Knives Out mystery. Netflix's sequel to the 2019 smash hit murder mystery. Daniel Craig returns as the last of the gentleman sleuths, Benoit Blanc, tackling a brand new case. I'm going to provide my own personal thoughts on the film in this video while recapping key plot details from the film to provide context, and invite you to leave your thoughts in the comments too. This does mean that, as per all honest reviews on the channel, there will be major spoilers ahead. You have been warned. With this film in particular, it's a combination of good news and bad news for myself. I don't think it possesses the same level of primal force as the first film did, which left a lasting impression after watching. With Glass Onion, I felt that the mystery that carried us through didn't have the same level of grandeur behind it, and ultimately gave a climax which I didn't find all that mind-blowing in all honesty. I'll start with the positives though. Daniel Craig is fantastic here. He's completely hamming it up as Blanc, even more so than the first film. It's playing to the exact strengths which make Blanc such an odd character. He's a man out of time. His mannerisms, speech, tastes, they're all from a bygone era, so by plugging him into a group of friends who are ultra current made him stick out like a sore thumb even more this time round, and I really enjoyed that separation. Our group here is named the Disruptors, a whole bunch of modern world scumbags leeching off their friendship with Edward Norton's character, wealthy businessman Miles Bron. They're a self-contained group who want to shake up the world however they can and shine the spotlight on them, while also doing everything to protect and support Miles. This, however, extends to another member of the group, Andy, the CEO of the company which she and Miles co-founded. A potentially future fuel source they've developed was found to be volatile, and Andy refused its release. However, during the legal case, Andy couldn't prove that she created the original IP, so the rest of the Disruptors lied in favour of protecting Miles. So the real crux of this film's story is a bunch of friends who sold out one of their own to protect the one who gave them all the legs up into notoriety. And I did enjoy this concept to an extent because it was a different angle than the last film surrounding a rough around the edges family. Here it's a rough around the edges friendship circle, so that was a nice way to delve into a slightly different direction. Plus the geography of the film was a standout detour from the large mansion scene before. However, I did much prefer that setting. It felt more classical Agatha Christie murder mystery, whereas here it's a lot more of a polished, modern, clean mystery, and I very much liked that change of tune. Flash forward and our attention becomes aimed towards the Glass Onion, the centerpiece of Miles's private Greek island, in which he name drops a whole bunch of celebrities, even getting to see Serena Williams as a personal trainer for him in quite a funny scene. In fact, the comedy in this film, it does hit quite often. The Glass Onion is a place where everyone's pockets are lined because their best friend is the tailor, but it's also a place where Miles wants to play some games. He sends out wooden mystery boxes to his friends, which when cracked open, present the invitations. Cue the mystery side to the film, at least the initial mystery, with Miles saying he's gonna be pretend murdered and it's down to the guests to crack the case. This led to sheer hilarity with Blanc cracking the entire thing before the first step had even begun. It not only proved exactly why Blanc is considered to be the greatest detective in the world, but it deflated how smart Miles thinks he actually is, when in reality he's a bit of an idiot, as we learn from further analysis by Blanc. I chuckled at Blanc's breakdown, especially how he belittles the childlike nature of the puzzle box being far too easy to a mind like his. You can just tell Craig has had a lot of fun with this character. Then we take a turn down a deadly spiral with Batista's character Duke dying after taking a drink, which opens the floor up to Miles being the intended target. And another plot door is kicked off its hinges when we find out that Andy is actually her twin sister, Helen, posing as Andy. Andy has been found dead, and now Helen wants to find out exactly what's been going on with the Disruptors, seeking revenge by causing her own disruptions. And that's where my review begins to enter the negatives. I didn't enjoy this side of the story all that much. By this point, all of the supporting characters became a bit too trivial and wound up window dressing scenes with the odd quote quirky tweet-style outbursts, such as hashtagging their own statements. They're all cloudy-brained, which only rings true to them as people. They're almost a reflection of how out of touch money can make you. They don't feel like they're able to think for themselves, instead just reciting things they've seen online because that's where they spend most of their time. But for me, I would have liked to have seen more of these characters having a bit of a driving force in the film to at least twist the narrative down a couple different paths to make you think and try and solve the case. Glass Onion didn't open the floor enough for me, as a viewer that is. A thing I love about mystery films is often you're presented with clues and given chances to suss things out for yourself, whereas here the Miles murder mystery was solved before it even started properly. Even though I spoke highly of it earlier in the review, that was in one regard. It was a good entertaining moment, but it took away from another regard, that being the feeling of mystery. And then even after Duke's death and Helen is shot, it's not all that mysterious either. It never really grabs you into making you care if a certain person has done something bad or not. I didn't lean into the motives of any of these people in the same way I leant into the motives of Ransom and Marta in the first film. Plus, the resolution to the actual mystery I didn't find all that synapse sparking. Benoit just goes, yep, here you go, Miles, you didn't want to be exposed by Andy or Duke, so you killed them. The person responsible for killing the people who were gonna expose him was him. That to me influenced a reaction of, oh, alright then. Sure, Miles gets his comeuppance with his Glass Onion and his reputation being destroyed, with the Disruptors now agreeing to testify against him rather than for him, but it wasn't strictly a shock to me that it was Miles. It almost makes a little too much sense to me. He was the boy who cried wolf when picking up the deadly drinking glass that killed Duke. He was the one to invite everyone to the island in the first place. Even his reaction to Andy when first seeing her was enough to make me realise if he hasn't done something to her in the past, he's likely going to do something in the future. Either way, he just stuck out compared to everyone else. Though then again, perhaps that's what they went for. Make you think that's the obvious choice, beat around the bush for a bit trying to misdirect you before coming back to that initial obvious choice. It does fit the Glass Onion theme though. Despite the film being so layered, the centre of it is crystal clear. Even if one of the other characters killed Andy, it still wouldn't have had much of an impact due to none of them being all that interesting or developed, despite being such a strong cast. Glass Onion was a middle finger to those sitting on the tops of podiums, liesmiths, perjurers, and snakes who have slithered together up the ladder of relevance, while the genuine are forced to watch and suffer from afar. It made this film feel like more of a statement piece rather than a solid mystery film, which I'd have much preferred in my opinion. Not jaw-dropping for me, though it was nice to spend a nice Greek holiday away in the Knives Out universe. But what did you think of Glass Onion? Let me know in the comments below, and until next time, Ghoul Gang, I've been Detective Connor Unleashed of the Yard, and we shall see you next time for another honest review. Cheers out.